Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm checking out Realops for XPlane 12, which is a ground operations plugin that adds a full turnaround process at the gate. This is a plugin that adds the visual of cargo, passengers, and catering into the sim. It has been a few months now that I've had this plugin, and with about 15 to 20 flights under my belt using this plugin, I'm ready to talk about it. Is it worth it for XPlane 12? Alright guys, so here we are sitting in the 737-800 Zibo mod. We're sitting here in Hawaii this morning, and I'm going to be showing you how to set up the Realops plugin and how to get the passengers, catering, fueling all going for this plugin. Now, one thing I will say, it has been a long time coming for something like this to come to the XPlane community and to our simulators. GSX has been over on Microsoft now for many years. It was, I believe, with P3D even before that. So all that time, we have not had anything like this plugin over here on the XPlane format. So we are very excited as a community for this. I will say this is going to be version 1 that we're going to be showing here today. So depending on when you are viewing this video, some things you see here today may already be maybe changed in the future, improved upon. But this is just going to be an honest review of version 1 here today. And so without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started, and we will get into the menu here. All right, well, first things first, we need to go up top here to our plugins menu. We're going to click on that, go down to Realops, and you're going to see 3 settings that are going to be showing here: start, stop, preset manager, settings, liveries. Very important that we set up the plugin from the very beginning. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on settings, and what you're going to see here on the left hand side is you're going to see all these different options for different liveries for different objects that are going to be running inside this plugin. Now over on the Discord of Realops, you can easily find different liveries for different airliners. That'll send you directly to the link to go ahead and download those liveries and install them into the plugin. You can also find different profiles for different airplanes. So today we are currently sitting in the Zibo mod 737-800. However, earlier today, I was flying the 737-700. So right now, I'm just going to move this here more to the middle of the screen so you can see it. You can kind of see what I had set on my previous flight. You've got your SimBrief ID down here below, and then you have just other options here to choose from. And you can see as the drop-down menu here, Southwest Airlines is what we would want to choose for today, since we are currently sitting in the Southwest Airlines. I don't have a Southwest one for the large stairs, so I'm just going to select Realops. We go to baggage loader, select Southwest as well, baggage train, Southwest, and then the gourmet, or the catering, I should say, Southwest as well. And then for the bus, you're going to have either just bus or electric bus, no livery there, of course. And then lavatory services, you have that as well. And then fuel truck, either Shell or Sky tanking. I just like to keep it on Shell. Over here on the right-hand side, the total number of minutes that you want to have for your catering, you can either make that more or less than 10 minutes. And then boarding, you can either do these 3 options here for your speed. I like to keep mine at normal. It seems to be a pretty fair time that they always do. Now, down here, cones, van, and GPU. The van I don't use because sometimes the preset has it sitting on top of the airport terminal. So obviously I don't like that as my visual, so I leave that off. The GPU, I always just use the GPU visual that comes with whatever airplane I am using. But if you're using a plane that does not have that, you can certainly select that and it will be there. So then once we have all of our settings here selected on the left side, right side, we're going to click on save, and Realops will take about 30 seconds to load. And with this being version 1, I would assume over time that these load times might get a little bit better over time. But as of right now, it's not too bad. 30 seconds is not bad because once it is up and running, it does run rather efficiently. So once we get our full meter here, we can go ahead and select our preset. And remember, I was saying it's very important that you don't skip this next step, because if you go ahead and run the program where you start getting the visuals and you don't have the correct preset, your baggage train, your catering truck, your stairs, they won't line up. So you see here, I have my previous flight earlier today, that's 737-700, and we got to go select ZiboMod 738. So in the Discord, once again, you can go and download other presets that have been made by other members of the community, and you can put those into your plugin folder, and then you will find those right here in your menu when you load back up. In front of us here, you have the preset here for like max passengers, pounds, all of that. And if you want to adjust any of that from the original download preset, you certainly can. Back up here to the plugins menu, we're going to go back now to our initial setup screen here. And this is where we get everything set up for our visual. So number of passengers, we can load from SimBrief. I've had some trouble with the cargo and fuel loading from SimBrief. See right here, it just loads the passengers. So I just kind of manually entered it all in, not a big deal. I usually just divide up my total payload cargo weight from SimBrief and put half in the forward and the other half in the aft. And then we have our connection. So it's either going to be stairs or jetway. And so depending on what type of airport you are at, it'll depend on, of course, what selection you do. So just to go ahead and start entering some numbers here, I'm just going to put some numbers in here for our forward and aft cargo. And then that way we can get that visual going here in just a moment. So, and then I'll type in our fuel here, 12,438. And then there we go. We will have our weights all in there for what we need to load in. So then we got our stairs also connected. Over here on the right-hand side, you can select your catering. You can then also select any other option here for your refueling. If you want to do lavatory service, you certainly can. We are just starting to board. Usually I will do this on my turnaround, but we'll select refueling. A lot of times I will just let like the ZiboMod visual be the refueling, but make sure you also click on load cargo and passengers, and then we'll click ready. And then you can see our Realops running time. So 20 minutes to load the catering, fueling, cargo, boarding. Once it has actually started, it will go from a gray to highlighted color. And so we jump outside here, and here we can see our visual of the stairs being pulled up to the airplane. And then on the other side, the cargo belt being brought up. So what we want to do is go back here to the EFB and get all of our doors open for both the cargo and passengers. So they will go ahead and start doing what they need to do. And look at this, you guys. This is absolutely fantastic. So we have, for the longest time, not had anything like this in XPlane 12. GSX has been around for a while for Microsoft users, and it's been obviously a great immersion part to their sim. And we've been needing something like this so bad. So now here you see the Southwest liveries on all of my catering truck, on like the baggage train here. It's just fantastic to see the branding match your plane livery. So you can see here our loader guy here. One thing I will say about this plugin is the movement is quite robotic. We would like to see a little smoother motion over time, but this is version 1, and we expect things like this from a version 1 of anything, right? There's going to be a lot of things that we want to see as an improvement for any plugin. But overall, you guys, really just a fantastic start for version 1. You can see where our shell truck here is parked, and where the connection is, and you can see why it's important that your preset is selected very carefully so all this matches up. And then there's our catering guy. He's actually going into the plane, dropping off his carts for catering. And so really just really cool to see the action, and it really brings the gate area and tarmac to life, which we have not had at all in this sim for many years, if not ever, right? We've had a couple other like ground handling, jar design, but it's not been to this level. So very cool to see. And the question is, you know, is this plugin worth the $20? I think a lot of that is for you as the consumer to decide if this is at the level that you expect it to be at right now. I personally have been wanting something like this in my sim for so very long that I do justify the $20 one-time fee. And over time, I just know that these developers are only going to improve it and make it better. So, but yeah, just you can see how this whole process here is already coming to life, and we now await the passengers. And so with that, I will go ahead and pull up our menu, and you can see here all these highlighted categories here are currently ongoing, and we still have boarding and aft cargo to take care of. And aft cargo will start once the catering truck has completed his process and pulled away, and then the boarding will start here momentarily. I think what I'll do is I will let this run, and then once the buses have started to pull up, I will come back and I will show you the boarding of the passengers. All right, so now we have catering all done. The forward cargo is all done, and now our first passenger bus has arrived. So you'll start to see the passengers deboarding the bus and onboarding the plane. And this is what we have been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. How long have we been wanting to have an actual visual of passengers loading an airplane in XPlane 12? Just like what you would see in GSX for Microsoft. So very exciting to see. I'll zoom in here just a little bit. Let me get my little handy dandy and I'll get this menu off the screen. But you can see here, I just want to show you quick how boarding now is highlighted. That tells you that it is currently ongoing. And here we are, guys. We are loading the plane with our passengers. Now, some of the feedback has been, having more passenger, different looks to the passengers. You'll see a lot of repetitive clothing and people and things like that, like this girl right here. She's twins, and they dressed alike for this. This guy here is still the same. But believe me, when I say that the developers for this this program, they're listening, right? They're hearing the community's response, and that's the type of stuff that is going to be addressed in the future. What you're seeing here, like I said in the earlier part of the video here, is this is version 1. This is just the rollout, and what you're seeing here is the version 1 of what could be of many. And we're going to take this and we're going to see this expand into something even far greater over the next several months to years. And it's just super exciting to even have something like this in XPlane. And so we're there, and it's really just fantastic to see. So the question is it worth the $20? I would say if you are looking for that immersion where you want the passengers being seen loading up onto the airplane, if you want to see, all the baggage being loaded up here, I would say it's absolutely worth the $20. It's a one-time fee. I wouldn't say that it's GSX level by any means, but it's going to get there. And so I would say, the more that we can support these developers right now here in the early stages of this program, the more that they would have the ability to make the improvements that we are looking for. And if you join their Discord, they have a Discord page set up for suggestions. You can also find different liveries on there. You can also find different presets for different planes. Pretty much anything you want is on there to help make this program even look better than from the initial purchase. So we're seeing just a great community come together and create all of these different liveries and presets and everything, and it's really fun and exciting to see. So one thing that I think maybe you guys are wondering about, if I go into the cockpit here, do you see the passengers in the cabin? You do not. The only thing I will say is when catering is going on, you do see the guy walk in towards the back of the plane, but he just kind of walks in and then walks back out as if he's dropping off stuff. So anyway, fantastic plugin, you guys. I can't recommend it enough. Like I said, it's only been out for a few months now. Imagine what this is going to be like even a year from now in 2027. And we finally have something in XPlane that just adds to our level of immersion that us sim pilots are always looking for and looking to add on to. So a couple cool features as well. I don't have it set up for this particular flight here, but it does with the 737, like the level up planes and the Zebo, these weights and everything do adjust as the boarding is progressing. So you will see your fuel load, you'll see your zero fuel weight increase, you'll see your payload increase. So unfortunately, I don't have it set up for this quick demo that I'm doing. I'm not actually doing a real flight. I'm just here to kind of show you the visuals. But know that it does affect your total takeoff weight and everything. And then, of course, if you need to adjust it, you can certainly go ahead and do so. But overall, you guys, fantastic plugin. I've been using it constantly. If you have the jetways selected, so at most airports, of course, here, at least in America, you're going to have jetways, right? You do not see any visuals for the passengers, but when you land at an airport like this, where you're actually walking onto the airplane from ground level, you obviously do see the visual that you see in front of you. So it is a fantastic plugin, you guys. Now, when I take off out of here and I land in Honolulu, if I were to be at a gate where I would, you know, be able to deboard like this, which really is the thing in Honolulu, there's all jetways. I can set this up to be at a gateway. So actually what I'll do here, just for the quick showing here, we'll go ahead and stop this. And I'm going to show you in the settings here. So when I land at an airport that doesn't have like a stairs need, I can just go and select jetway. And if I want a second option not be there, I just go to none. So then I'll have a jetway connection. So that's where they will deboard, but there's no visual for that. When I land in Honolulu, instead of having the load cargo, I'm just going to go deboarding, unload cargo, and then I can choose catering if I want, and I can do lavatory service. And it's going to show me with those items selected how long my turnaround is going to be. So very fun to kind of play around with that and see what that looks like for your next flight. And yeah, so guys, ultimately, it's a fantastic plugin. I can't recommend it enough. And if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below, and I'll leave the link for the Realops website in there as well. You can only buy it off of the Realops website. It is not available on the .org store. So I just want to thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all on the next one.